Hey everybody, what's going on? Real Estate Blitz, KSA Kris here, and I had a tough day. I had, not today, but it was a couple days ago, and I literally just stepped out to take care of something. And, I learned something recently from my wife, and it was inspiring, and I figured I would share it. So Kim, she doesn't really watch my videos, but that's okay because she knows everything. But she really inspired me. She taught me something because I was at my end. I was at my end. So I've mentioned it in previous videos. Like, I'm very adamant. I want to work with people. I'm at a point in my career where I want to work with certain types of people that are receptive to me, that I can communicate with, that I can work with. And I'm not a huge fan of working with abusive people. A lot of real estate agents, to include myself, there was a time when I worked with abusive people because I needed to. I needed to work with anybody. I didn't care. I'd work with anyone. If you had a heartbeat and a pulse, I'd work with you. And I think just as I've come along in this industry, I've gotten to a point where I don't like working with abusive people because no matter what I do, no matter how much service or value I provide them, they're still going to think I suck. They're still going to think that I'm awful, and they're going to tell all their friends that I stink. And in the process, I got to spend 30 to 45 days with them of being treated like crap. And I'm just not into that at all. But long story short, pick up this new listing. It's $700,000. And I go and stand the open house, and somebody walks in, and they were just being pretty aggressive right from the start, but whatever. They were a little bit rude, but same thing, I'm like, whatever. It takes you have all types. We had 64 people through the open house, so I was kind of just whatever. Out of the blue, I get a phone call. I say, hey, we want to write an offer. We want you to write the offer. We really liked you, and we're ready to go. I said, that's great. So what do you want to offer? Well, we're going to pay all cash. We're going to pay full asking price and go from there. Fantastic. Wonderful. So that makes me happy. So now I go into escrow with this buyer, and this buyer is just mean. They're just mean people. Unloads on my TC. I go on the property inspection. They're unloading on the property inspector, complaining the whole time. One time, basically telling the property inspector he doesn't know what he's doing. You're awful. Obviously, the floor's wet, and he's on his hands and knees. My property inspector's on his hands and knees, and he's like, I feel no moisture. And they're just where they're at. Now, I'm not going to get too lost on that, but I don't. This is one of my rules. If I'm typically working with a buyer, if you insult our staff, if you curse at one of our agents, we're done working with you. And so I'm on the edge of wanting to flip into mean Kris, which I prefer not to. But then I'm kind of like I talked to my wife about. I'm like, hey, I feel ethically bound to do what's right by the people that listed with us. Our clients that we listed with, we've been working with them now for about a year to get their house ready to sell it. I feel obligated to do the best I can for them. I really like them. They're wonderful people. And I'm kind of like, okay, look, they're difficult people, but they aren't horrible people. So let's just roll with it. Then the day after the inspection, we haven't even got the property report back. This tirade starts happening by email. And I start getting these emails that are just so far out of left field and so far out of the norm that I'm not sure how to deal with it. Okay, so I want to reply back and say, we haven't gotten the property inspection back. I understand you believe you know what is wrong with the house. You believe there's a slab issue. Are you a slab contractor? No, you're not. Okay, he's saying that there isn't, but he just wants to request whatever he wants to request. He doesn't want to wait for the property inspection to get back. He just knows what he wants fixed. So, I try to politely explain to him, we can submit a request for repairs any way you want to, whenever you want to, based off of whatever you want. But if you really want to hold this thing together, Let's wait for the property inspection. Let's find out exactly what the property inspector is saying is wrong with the house, and then we'll know what we can request, because right now we're just saying stuff. We don't know what we're requesting. So he's like, well, I want a contractor out there, and I want a contractor to look at these specific things. And I say, we can send a contractor, a general contractor out there, but you're probably still not going to get what you want. Of course, he unloads on me again. Now, even with me, there's a line. I don't let people, most people, you can get loud. I don't mind if you're loud. You start cussing at me. I've had clients in the past, you start cussing at me or something, just, I don't do that. I'll just tell them, look, I'm a grown person. We don't do that. I'm not doing that with you. And reestablishing the relationship. I've done videos on this in the past. So, I'm rolling with it. And so I get off the phone and I call Kim. And I told my wife, I says, look, I don't think this is going to work out. This guy's making threats as far as falling out. And I don't know if he's serious about this house anyways. He's asking for, unreasonable things. And my wife said, kill him with science. Why are you getting upset? Kill him with science. And I didn't get it. I was venting mostly. And she had a good point. So I sat down and I broke out the three major things that he was concerned about. First off, I went and found a contractor. I scheduled a contractor. I set it up. I got it like right away. Then when I started talking to him, this is what I found. He's a strong driver personality. Where's my sheet? Because I actually have notes here. He's a strong driver personality. And what I realized is with a driver, I'm a driver by personality. But usually I try to mellow myself out when I'm dealing with clients. With a driver, you have to be a driver. Otherwise, you just have somebody that's walking on you like a doormat. So she says, first off, get the contractor. Second off, go out and break down exactly what he wants, and then find the actual people that specialize in that. And you have to educate him on why it's important to get these types of people, because a general contractor is going to be able to do X. And so one of them was the roof. Okay, so you want a general contractor to look at the roof, but he can't do anything for you. How about for $150, we get a roof contractor, an actual roofer out there. He's going to look at it. He's actually going to tell you truth on the roof and what's going on. And from there, he will certify it. So if anything is messed up within a year, he has to deal with it. So I call him back and I switched my personality. I wasn't dealing with this guy appropriately. And I went into driver mode and I just started talking to him, talk fast, talk hard. This is what it is. This is where we're at. And he just assimilated, like we were talking. It was fantastic. It was the best conversation we've had since we started working together. And then I basically broke down to him and says, look, scheduled the contractor for you. He's going to be there at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. He's ready to go. He knows what things you want to look at. However, you can still walk around the house. I already talked to the client, the seller. They're going to be out of the house so you guys can go through it. And by the way, I just want you to know when the contractor looks at the slab, he is not a slab person. He cannot tell you. He can tell you what he knows based off of being a contractor. But really what we should do, because you're a smart guy, is we should get somebody out there that specializes in foundations. So that way they can either certify the foundation and say it's good from a licensed foundation contractor, or they could say it's bad, and we can know exactly what we need to ask from the seller and how much exactly it's going to cost to have a foundation person fix it. I say we do the same thing for the roof. I say we do the same thing for the water drainage. And he just completely changed. And it was the best conversation we had. And in the process, it was all he needed was to be educated. He knew what he knew based off of past experiences. So it turns out, as we're having this conversation, the reason why these three things were so important to him, the last house he bought, he moved in, had major foundation issues he didn't know, and flood issues, and it just destroyed the home. He had to pay thousands of dollars to fix it when he wished he would have just dealt with it to begin with. So because in his mind, he had already experienced this pain, as soon as he saw, and what the thing is, when we did the property inspection, it had just rained, like a heavy, heavy rain. So he just immediately went into this freak out mode. And that's why he was being so aggressive at the appointment and being aggressive about these things after the appointment. Now, I didn't know that because I didn't ask. My job, our job, is to serve people. Our job is to try to educate them as best as we can. And hopefully in the process, it works out extremely well. It turns out this guy, he didn't want out. I was just taking it personal. He actually loves the house. He wants the house. He's willing to do anything for the house. He wants to get the house. At the same time, he doesn't want to walk into the same pain that he had in his last home. So anyways, I figured I'd give you a quick tale, my quick horror tale, and I might start doing these like once a week. I got all of us, if you've been in this business long enough, we got horror stories that we've dealt with. I could tell you one where a guy chased one of our agents with a freaking machete. Like you want to talk about crazy. That's a crazy situation. I have another one where a guy pulled a gun on me. Person moved into a vacant house that we had, and they didn't want to leave. And I didn't know what was going on. They pulled a freaking gun on me. So I might start doing these because I got a few of them. I don't know. I mean, I think there's always education that can come from the really, really bad things that happen to us. And I might actually start telling you some of the awful things that we've dealt with and what we learned from it and how we actually grew from it. Anyways, that's all I got. Appreciate y'all. And subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube and you can see there's like, I don't know, a bazillion other videos, and I'm not charging anybody for this. I'm not selling any products. I'm just putting these out to try to help people. Do me a favor. Go subscribe to the channel. Okay, Real Estate Blitz. Appreciate you. Bye.